What am I most grateful for in my life? Everything. The fact that I'm breathing, that I lived to be 54, that I can look back at my life and growing up in poverty and dysfunction, and I dreamed and I believed, that I have a daughter who I love, who loves me, a husband who I love, who loves me, a roof over my head. Yeah, I'm grateful.
A woman's potential is boundless. Only you can define your worth. We are worth it.
With an Oscar, an Emmy, and 2 Tony Awards, there's no question Viola Davis is one of the greatest actors of her generation. So it's not surprising L'Oreal Paris just named her their newest brand ambassador.
I never thought that I could be a spokesperson for L'Oreal. The fact that I am, it feels like my life has come full circle, because when I thought of beauty and femininity, when I was a young girl, scrappy girl growing up in Central Falls, Rhode Island, I didn't associate it with myself. I always say, oh, it's the little girl that follows me all the time. The little girl when I was 6 years old. It's the only picture I have of myself when I'm young. I see her every single day. Every single day I open my big Sub-Zero refrigerator or sit in my jacuzzi and she's just standing there squealing, you know? And I always feel like I have to go back and heal her. And I gotta go back and heal my little girl. You know, the little girl who grew up in poverty, who was called names and ugly all the time, you know? Until someone told me, you know, maybe you need to let the little girl heal you at 54. Maybe you need to allow the little girl to be excited at the 54-year-old she gets to become, because actually she did pretty good. She was a survivor. She got out of it. And it makes me look at my past completely different when I see that. It really does.
Viola was born in a one-room shack on her grandmother's farm in South Carolina. What followed was a tough, poverty-stricken childhood.
I mean, just to be honest, I mean, my father was an alcoholic. He was violent, but then he went through this transformation. And I remember towards the end of his life especially, he apologized to my mom. They stayed married until his death in 2006. And he was always there for us, always rooting for us, always told me how proud he was of me. He would say, I'm so proud of you, daughter. I love you so much. And my mom is just the love of my life. So I love my parents. I really honestly felt like they did the best they could with what they had. There's always joy. I don't care what anyone says. There's always moments of joy. And I'll tell you, when I was 8 or 9, and I have 4 sisters, so we're all within a few years of each other. And we wrote a skit, and we actually had rehearsal. We actually had a signed producer and director. We had rewrites. My mom and dad gave us the run of their closet. We had a wardrobe budget of $2.50. And every day we would rehearse, and I just felt like that was so creative.
That creative young girl grew up to be a household name, but success in Hollywood did not come easy.
I feel like in the beginning of my life, how I handled rejection is I personalized it. For me, it was, you were just cementing what I felt like I already knew about myself. That I wasn't attractive, I didn't have a commercial look, I don't know, whatever, but feminine enough, light enough. So I just settled on that.
I'm Professor Annalise Keating, and this is Criminal Law 100, or as I prefer to call it.
I think that a huge turning point in my life, I have to say, was
How to Get Away with Murder.
How to Get Away with Murder. Sometimes people have to give you permission to see yourself as better or more than what you are or what you think you are. That job gave me permission to see my womanhood and all of my womanhood. You have to realize that I am a product of a culture that has dictated who I am. A dark-skinned black woman with lips and a nose and a deep voice. So what I've been told my whole life is what it means to be a woman, okay? And so all of a sudden, Annalise comes in like a whirling dervish, and she's all of it. Brutal, mean, depressing, ruthless. But that's what it costs to change the world. She's messy. She's almost sociopathic. She's sexual. She's mysterious. She's highly intelligent. She's a big personality. She's all of those adjectives that are not associated with me. And then all of a sudden, I've got to play her. Bring it. You think I'm scared of this?
You've never gone up against a governor before, have you?
And you've never been up against me either. Try it. Pick this fight.
Sadly, Viola's days as Annalise Keating are numbered. How to Get Away with Murder enters its final season this fall.
I'll miss Annalise Keating, and I'll miss the people that I work with. They actually have been, it's the best part of what we do is the relationships. It just is. You remember the relationships almost more than the work. But I'll miss Annalise Keating. I don't know if I'm gonna meet someone like her again. I think that, you know, being a dark-skinned black woman on network TV in a lead role, this is a role Shonda has redefined what it means to be a leading lady. I'll miss that about her. I literally got on my knees after a friend of mine told me to pray for her husband. I said, pray? Boy, God is gonna say, who? Viola who?
In 2003, Viola's prayers were answered when she married actor Julius Tenen.
So I got on my knees and I prayed for all the things that I desired in a man, which is, you know, big guy. I like football player guys. You know, they don't have to be black. I don't care, really, God doesn't really, but if he's black, it's good. I like him funny, you know? Maybe if he's older, he's already had a family, that's good too, because I don't want that pressure. I want someone who loves God, because then he'll be held accountable, I said, because some men, not to man bash, but sometimes they're not accountable. And then 3.5 weeks later, I met Julius from Austin. He raised his children by himself for 17 years. He's an ex-football player, linebacker, you know, an actor, you know, invited me to church. I was like, I'm gonna blow the church up, Julius. I'm gonna blow it up, you know. But he's a mensch, a heart that comes into the room before he does. Someone who's pure. And you know, I'm just gonna say it. Someone who just loved me. He just thought I was awesome.
In 2011, Viola took on the most rewarding role of her life, mother, when she and Julius adopted their daughter, Genesis.
Genesis says, you're a mommy, mommy. You're not always a friend, mommy. You're a mommy, mommy. And I love you for that, mom. Some days I give myself an A+, other days I'll call my friend Michelle and I say, you know what, I give myself a D- today on mommyhood. I feel like I'm the mom, I'm gonna give myself credit, who has the courage to share her story with her daughter. I have the courage to tell her that she's gonna make some big old bonker mistakes, and that mommy is just not gonna have the answers, and sometimes you're not either. I'm the mom who says you're good enough wherever you are, but there's gonna be times when you don't feel good enough. I'm not the mom that's gonna just tell her a bunch of lies about life because I want her to be the best woman in the room. I feel the most beautiful, I have to say, when I'm with my husband and child. because they love me. Especially when Genesis sleeps with me and Julius, which is sort of every night, sorry. But I feel the most beautiful because before we go to bed, it's sort of like the Waltons, you know. Genesis says, you know, I love you, Mommy, love you, Daddy. And Julius says, I love you guys so much, you're my babies. And then we joke and laugh and hug each other. I feel great. I mean, what else is there but being loved? Now that's being loved.